Fine, everybody. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Starting in 1, 2, 3. Don't worry, there's editing.
This is the Brighton Your Day podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Just doing this and taking the time and I don't know, just being so supportive. I truly love all of you so much. If you are on video, perfect. If you're not, I'm just gonna set the scene for you. We are at this cabin up in the woods. We're all in sweats. We just ate Domino's pizza. As we were setting up, my sister got stung by a bee. Right there.
Right here.
Yes, Kinley. So that was unfortunate, and their husband came up with a shovel to try and kill the rest of the bees. We're just so grounded and so happy, and really, I love my podcast. I love how it's been going, but I've been sitting here thinking about what else I could bring to make it just fun. Like, where could I have so much fun? I just thought about all of my sisters as well as my girlfriends, and really just the girls' night in was born, okay? The segment.
Yeah.
So if you are joining us for the first time, which this is the first time of many, this is going to be an episode reoccurring, Girls Night In. We're going to talk about all things related to growing up as a woman, being in your 20s or on, feeling lost, funny dating stories, body image, all of the good stuff, all of the juicy stuff, because I believe that women need to openly talk about it more. Honestly, the fun, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, everyone's been really excited when I've told them about this plan, which makes me happy because I feel like, you know, it's not just like for my enjoyment, it's for everybody as well.
It's needed for sure.
Whoa. Gosh, I need to stop screaming. I am sitting with almost all of my sisters right now. I actually am going to do an intro of each of them, just like one word of something that I think about them. And no, it's nice. It's nice. And I feel like each audience member is probably going to relate to one of the sisters or one of the guests. Yes, there'll be girlfriends as well on future episodes, but this one I thought it would be so fun to start with my sisters, and you will probably see all of them again. I have built-in best friends, and I'm so grateful to have 6 sisters. Let me start by introducing you all. My sister Sydney is not here, but the word I chose for her is the lively sister. Okay, Kinley, the whimsical sister.
I wonder why.
She literally has essential oils and crystals, and she's a yoga instructor, so we know her, we love her, and her whimsy and her woo.
Chai Bhagwan.
Chai Bhagwan. Okay, perfect. Whitney's to my left.
Okay.
The word I chose was the passionate sister.
Oh.
Woo. Ella, I chose this word, which I literally had to look it up, but I kept seeing it. I'm like, that is true. The benevolent sister.
Oh,
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I literally had it and now it's gone, so that's really embarrassing. Okay. Well-meaning and kindly. Definitely Ella. If anyone knows Ella, she literally was so nice to me when I was so rude to her growing up. Okay. Hallie, the youngest sister, the spirited sister.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what about Brighton?
Yeah, I don't know.
We should be intuition, ladies.
Ready, go.
What's
Say one
Brighton's
thing.
word?
I would say curious.
Ooh,
She's always curious to learn. That's what I would say about Brighton.
I'd say bold.
I like that.
Yeah, you are
Curiously bold.
bold. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're curious
that.
and you'll take the bold action.
Ooh, love that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, like a
You don't even-
Kardashian.
Yeah.
Or inside out.
Yeah, or inside out. Yeah. So I thought that that'd be really fun. Okay, so I thought about doing an icebreaker question, and the one that I came up with is, how long would you last in a zombie apocalypse? This is going to be a round robin type of style. So Hallie, you want to go first?
To be quite honest, I think I would die really quick. Well, I think I would have a really interesting journey, but I think you'd be like the type that like you would see in a movie and be like, she would die so fast.
Next person.
My turn?
Okay, Ella, your turn.
Okay, how long would I last? I feel like there's 2 ways I go. Either I'd be like, stick with family, like protect, keep everyone together, And then the other part of me would be like, peace.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to the cabin. Like, I'm gonna survive alone.
And leave everyone else.
But we all end up at the cabin.
Yeah, but then everybody that I love would be at the cabin, so we're okay.
Okay.
But how long? A month? I don't know. That's a long time. 6 months.
6 months. Okay, that's Heck
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
Okay, me. Simply, as soon as I hear zombies are roaming the earth, I'm not here anymore.
You're turning that gun.
Good to
You ruined me with your video games all growing up. I could hear them through the wall. And I would wake up in the morning listening to your video games
Yeah.
playing, and so I'd have zombie nightmares. So maybe I would
Yeah.
last.
No, simply put,
We know
love
where
you all,
Brighton's going is heaven.
but I am gone.
Good to know. We'll check in with you real quick.
All right, what is kind of depressing and also very I respect it. I would buy a Baja truck with a 50 caliber on top,
Oh.
and I would survive to the end, bitches.
My ego wants to say that I would hella survive, but I also really struggle when I'm sad and depressed. This is the honest answer. And so I think like seeing everyone,
Yeah.
like the bees that died just barely, like
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't handle it. And so if the whole world is really like that, I would have to work so hard on my mindset because it gets so cutthroat. Am I making this so serious?
Yeah.
Brian brought it there too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how long it would last.
For future episodes, I'm going to do a more lighthearted question. We are literally all trying not to laugh so hard right now because truly it's just like the best time ever, which I'm so happy about. With my Girls Night In, if you guys follow the Instagram, the Brighten Your Day podcast Instagram, I asked you guys what type of topics you like talking about or what type of topics you like listening to, what you want the girls to answer or at least talk about, try and answer. And the first message that I got, honestly, was the most beautiful topic to start out with. I think every single woman and every single person in general feels like this and struggles with this and has their own opinions about it. So this person said, releasing comparison between you and other women, as well as supported friendships with other women versus competition between other women. So that's a lot to talk about. I love all of those. There's so many avenues, but really when I sat there and thought about the topic, it really came down to confidence in all of the ways. Self-confidence, self-love, confidence in what you're doing in this world. If you feel like you have confidence, if you don't feel like you have confidence, how to gain it, all of those beautiful and complex things about life. Especially with my sisters, I think that's a really, really interesting topic to all talk about openly because I know we have our own life experiences that I know everyone's going to be able to really relate with. So with that being said, it's really interesting that this message was the first one because out of anything that I've been struggling with, it has truly been my confidence, like especially self-love and confidence with like my physical self has been, almost an all-time low. I don't know like the rhyme or reason as to why, honestly, but it's something that is very near and dear to me and something that I've been trying to work on. So the fact that it just kind of happened like that, where it was like the first one to answer, it just made so much sense to do it with my sisters, a really just safe group of women.
Which, can I say something?
Please.
I think it's so interesting because when you said we're going to talk about confidence, I feel like it's pretty obvious that I'm not confident, like especially with my sisters. They know I openly talk about where I'm not confident. And being not Brighton, being a sister of Brighton, or even relating with the people who are watching, hearing that, I'm like, what? Brighton's one of the confident sisters. What? Because on the outside, it just seems like everybody else has it together. And like on the inside, at least I'm speaking general, at least for me, I feel like everybody around me has it together. And then on the inside, I'm like, why can't I just feel confident? And so I think that not only I relate with you, but anybody listening can relate
I love
with that. So thanks for being real.
Yeah. And that totally makes sense. It's like even the people that you think are so confident probably aren't, or hopefully they hopefully they are.
Or are in some places and aren't in
Yeah.
others.
Yeah. Which is interesting that you kind of say that because this is just like a popcorn of anyone who has a good answer. Does anyone have like a good definition of what they think confidence is?
I do. I feel like something I've learned that was the biggest way to know confidence to me was I'm no better than anyone and I'm no worse than anyone. And that was just like it. That kind of was an answer for me because I do look at people, I'm like, oh, what if? And then but I'm like, I shouldn't look at people like they're not like me. And so really looking at everybody, it's like, no, we're even.
Yeah.
I think that's confidence.
I love that. Totally.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a great answer. Yeah. Because it's not coming out of ego. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, ego. I would just say being willing to like try new things and laugh it off and just like it's okay if you make mistakes. I'm still learning that because I am a perfectionist and you will see that, but I think just being able to be like, I don't know how to do this thing. I'm going to try it and I'm going to fake it till I make it.
I love that. That's huge. Callie, you have anything?
I think all those answers are perfect. That's all I have to say.
I have something. I used to teach this in third chakra when I would teach my in-person classes, because third chakra is about confidence. And someone once shared that their rabbi, I think it was Rabbi Jason from like Connecticut or something, I don't know, but he said true confidence is not taking up too much space and not taking up too little space.
Kind of
It's
the same
like
idea.
humility of like, here I am, not too much, but not too little.
Yeah.
Another thing bouncing off Ella, I remember all the time thinking, along with like not being too big or too little, like you're you, feeling okay to be as dumb as possible, literally. You can succeed in anything if you're okay feeling dumb.
Yes, this is my quote. I sent it to a few of you on Instagram. It was a reel that popped up and it basically said, it's about pushing yourself outside of the box and like you won't grow unless you're always pushing yourself. And it said, you will feel the weakest when you're working out at the gym. You will feel the dumbest when you're reading about something you don't understand. You will feel, and it went on about like, basically you'll feel the worst when you're trying to grow and learn.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're actually growing and learning. And your quote, how did you say it? You said, don't let anybody judge you that's not in the ring fighting.
You are so right. So that's my first episode. It's a really famous speech called The Man in the Arena. It's a long quote. It's like a whole segment, but the gist of it is if you are actually in the arena doing the things, everyone else on the sidelines can't say anything. And I think that that's true confidence, is being in the arena and trying the things in front of all of the spectators and believing that you can, and also not taking anyone else's shit from the outside as
Which
well.
is huge for the Olympics coming up. And I would always think that in the arena, who is criticizing you the most? Who do you think? The people that have never done it.
Yes.
The people that are on their couch saying, did you see her landing? She got a point out because she stepped out. Like, it's the people who, and if they were actually a gymnast or an actually dancer, actually a football player, they'd be like, oh, been there, done that.
Yeah.
They would never criticize. They'd be like, I've done that.
There's a quote. There's a quote that says, don't take advice from someone that you don't want to be where they are.
Yeah, totally.
It's like only the people who are where you actually want to be, those are the people that are not criticizing you.
No. Yeah, because they get it.
Yeah.
They absolutely get it.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Would anyone like to talk about where their confidence level's at recently?
Yeah.
Take her away.
Getting all the eyes on me.
She goes, yeah.
Honestly, well, while you guys were talking, I was just thinking about this last year, I guess 2 years ago now, I started welding in my high school, and the first thing I thought was that, oh shoot, when I was setting up with classes, I was so late that the last one was welding, and I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I think it's so cool, but I'm like, you think I'm gonna feel like okay to do that? Like, that's so scary. Like, just racing thoughts of like, I don't think I can. I don't think I'll like be brave enough to do that. And then they're like, well, that's the only one and you need it. So they put me in, and I was like, so then I went to the class, and I remember feeling so uncomfortable because there was 3 girls out of the 30, like a 30 people class of all boys. And this last year, I was by myself in intermediate welding with 30 other boys. And let me tell you, I had to either, I guess, fake it till you make it with my confidence, because every time I would walk in and be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting stared at, oh my gosh, like they ask me like, oh, let me look at your welds, and I'm like, ew. And then I'm also like walking in, and I'm kind of just like, I just feel so like caved in. Like I didn't want to be myself. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to like do anything. And by the end of the year, I seriously just didn't care. Like, they either were my friend and I was nice to them and I'm like, oh, you're cool. Or I would literally just like be like, get out of my way because I like had to have that confidence. It pushed me to have that confidence in that type of class of all boys because if I didn't, I feel like I just get like eaten up, I guess. But yeah, that's just my experience.
Go how?
That's great.
I totally think that's true. When you were talking, I was thinking about the gym. How the first time you go into the gym, it's so scary. You go to the back treadmill and maybe you wear, I don't know, less revealing clothes or whatever it is, whatever you feel to be comfortable and kind of be unseen. And then you slowly inch out to like maybe a machine or two that you saw someone else do. And then you slowly inch out to some of the free weights, but only like a few from there. And it just like seriously over the course of maybe like a year or 6 months, you just get so confident and then you just walk in. It's like not even a second thought, you know?
It's so interesting. I love that we're taking it so many different ways. Like you're talking about your energy, like just being your whole self. You're talking about like, okay, I'm working on my body in the gym. And then my brain went to our intuition classes. I'm like, okay, I know so many of us have taken them. And like when we first started, it's like, I'm not confident at all in this.
Yeah.
And then by the end, it's like, yeah, you're still nervous. We're still human. But it's just cool that I took it as intuition and we all took it in different ways when you asked, where are you in confidence?
It's just so interesting to see like that you all start at the same place of feeling not confident and then like slowly being like, I can be confident in this. And then
you do it.
Yeah, and Kinley was saying like people will be confident in different areas and completely not confident in others. Because I do have people that have been like, you are a very confident person. I'm like, really? Like you see that in me? And I'm like, oh, thank you. But then there's times that I'm like, I do not feel confident. Like I just want to hide. Like, and I would say in school too, for me, I'm studying equine science and with horses. Like I didn't grow up with horses. I didn't grow up on a ranch. I didn't grow up like wrangling anything, you know? Then in my classes, I'd just be learning so many new things that it was like, I was so uncomfortable and like totally pushing myself out of my comfort zone. But even in like a year later, I was like, I still felt uncomfortable going to class. But then I'd look back to the previous year and be like, I've come so far. Like, it's crazy to see how far I've come. And you were saying David Goggins' cookie jar, just kind of like looking back and realizing how far you've come. And when you are in hard times with confidence, it's important to like look back and realize like,
grab that cookie.
I've come so far. Yeah.
Grab that cookie when you need it. Absolutely. I love that.
You want me to go?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
That's interesting because that goes along with how I feel now. I feel like all growing up, I wasn't confident and I was pushing to get the validation from people to be confident. And then I got that. And then I realized I don't need them to be confident. And I left. And now I'm in that phase of like, okay, cookie jar Whitney, I can always grab to be confident. But now I don't need validation enough to be confident. Validation was like all of our podcasts.
Yeah.
But
by the way, yeah, if you guys want to go listen to that, Whitney Moss Rojas.
Thanks. But definitely now, because I'm not doing all that, and I'm like, that was validation and confidence from the outside. Now it's pulling from the inside.
I love that.
So it's a new, different confidence that I don't need outside people. But it is hard. Still struggle.
Something that keeps coming to my head is, okay, we're talking about being confident within ourselves, but I keep thinking like being confident within friendships and relationships because being around different people does like affect us.
Yeah, change your energy.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, so previously married Kinley was not confident, and that's what caused a lot of the trauma was because I was reaching so hard to be told I was beautiful and in such a physical way, and it led to so much pain.
It wasn't within.
It wasn't within, but that's when I was introduced to the concept of it being within, and then I got a divorce. And then the 4 years of being single was like, Wonder Woman, but like almost to the extreme of like I was the person at the gym, like I'm on the front treadmill, believe it or not, and I'm running and I'm like, I want everyone to see me. And I swung so hard the other way of like, I am whole. It was like so aggressive.
Here I am.
Yeah. And then pizza. Yeah. And then I feel like it started to teeter out in the middle of like, I've got me, but I don't need anybody to tell me that I've got me. Like, I'm just so okay within. Yeah. And then I attracted Cameron. And now I'm in this stance of like, okay, still be myself because I have these like muscle memories of like now go small when I'm in a relationship or cater to the other person while I'm in a relationship. And so I'm still to this day practicing being confident within myself while around like Cameron or friendships, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Even with opinions too, like it's so easy, and it's okay to be this way as well. It's masculine and feminine, where I find myself sometimes being in my masculine, being very kind of overly confident in my relationship, where I'm like, no, I should do this and I should choose this and all this stuff. But then sometimes when I do just kind of relax and let him take charge, it actually is great. It actually, like, the dynamic is,
It's also confidence.
it's also confidence, yeah, in a different way. It's kind of interesting, which I know you ladies, it's, well, you've had your own boy things, but especially when you're married, you know, it's for sure like that.
You blend.
Yeah,
and then you
blend.
try to not.
And then you fold to not
Yeah.
be blended.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens in any like friendship,
Totally.
like any relationship you have, even like I would say overbearing bosses. You feel them and their expectations and their
Preach.
energy, and you can like you have to learn to be confident in yourself to be like, hey, they're over me, but also like I can be me,
Yes.
and I have to be confident and like I know what I know, and also be honest with my knowledge, and yeah.
Mm,
Or friendships,
yeah.
like codependent friendships can be a lot.
How does one gain confidence if they are in a relationship?
Stepping back, in my opinion, from a younger kid perspective, I feel like the more that I have had different types of like friendships and relationships, I feel like every time that I've seemed to like lose that sense of self or confidence, I always feel like I need to just step back and just sit within my own myself. Like I just need to sit and like think and see it and be like, oh, that's my first step, I guess.
Yeah, I love that with like even anything in life, you're only able to receive what you let go. So like however much you let go of is what you make space for in your life to like receive. So I love that with like taking space.
Yeah, that's super wisdom. I would say alone time. Alone time is huge because then you start to learn, okay, wait, who am I? Like I just took a solo trip to the cabin to be in my own energy, and it was like wild to see how energized I felt being in my own energy.
Mm.
And then it showed me, okay, how often am I giving my energy away in ways that are just not serving me, you know? Or just like over giving to other people, but under giving to myself. So yeah,
Amen.
Hallie with the wisdom.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
Learn from the older siblings.
This is interesting because I feel like I struggle with this the most right now, because I feel in last relationships were more toxic, or the only way I think I was on like the point of blowing up, and that was the only way I think I could be by myself enough to have the energy for myself, but I used it in a toxic way. Like,
Me too.
oh yeah, well, we're fighting, I'm gonna leave, and then I would feel like, wow, this is amazing to be by myself. But I'm learning you can
Yes.
leave and take alone time, and it's like no one's mad, no one's yelling, everyone's happy to let them go and come back. Because I never knew what that was like. Or I always felt like they were mad or I'm mad. Like it was all unhealthy.
It's like you can't, yeah, I think now my husband and I have been able to figure that out a little bit more, is like, yeah, it's okay if you want to go do something, and it's okay if I want to go do something without you, but not in a mean way. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's how I grew up or
We'll tell you.
what. Yeah, seriously. I feel like whether it was my parents or just me, whoever, anytime that I was feeling really big emotions, I was always alone. Like I was either sent to be alone or I made myself be alone. So then I feel like I kind of can't figure myself out if someone else is there with me. And that's something that I'm trying to learn to go through, is like, I don't always need to take space to feel my feelings and then feel through them and then move on, you know?
I feel this.
Yeah.
I love my therapist. Shout out to Farah.
What about her?
No, I'm just saying.
That's literally it. Just a plug to your therapist.
Sorry, I should have made that make more
What
sense.
was your thought process with that one?
I was saying that because I was listening to Brighton and I was thinking I completely agree, because before I had a therapist and before I like asked for one consistently, I'm pretty sure I talked to you guys about it at least once or twice. So I'm like, I just feel like I need someone who I can just speak so I can understand myself so then I can talk to others about my feelings. So that's why I shout out Para because I learned that as well, that like anytime that I was alone, I would choose to feel it so aggressively instead of like talking to someone and actually working it out. And I'm still working on it, but I've been able to recognize that because of Farah.
Which is an interesting balance. How much do you let out and talk to somebody with your emotions versus isolate to take time for yourself and having that balance?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need alone time? Am I okay to express with this person? Can they hold space for me? Do I have the space to talk in a calm manner?
Yeah.
Because I don't sometimes.
Me too.
I scream.
Yeah. So then what do you do? Like, okay, if we're all trying to walk this tightrope, this balance, which I also want to know, I think it's important to not personalize when our people, like when other people take alone time around us, like
It's so
our lovers or our friends, to not personalize it like, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
Or what am I?
Do they just not want to hang out with us?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, is golf more fun than me?
It might be sometimes.
It might be
Same
sometimes.
with my husband fishing. I'm like, it's probably more fun than me right now. Whatever. And
Yeah.
like, I have to be okay.
But sometimes I'm like, yeah, I am being a bitch. So no wonder why you'd want to go.
Like, you're like, and I'm gonna go here because
Yeah.
you're being rude.
And like
Yeah.
sometimes it's fun for me to, I don't know, like go to the beach by myself.
Yeah.
You know, like it's and that's okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's so uncomfortable when it's not the normal. Like to start like taking the first steps of that when you're so used to being with each other all the time.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable to be like, okay, I'm gonna go here. And then the other person's like, okay. And then you're like, okay. And it's just kind of like you're tiptoeing like, we're not mad. We're not mad.
Those things are so true. I want to kind of segue into, which is another huge topic we could talk about for hours and hours. I know this, but I want to segue into social media and confidence.
Me. Hey, it's Hallie. All I have to say is that is something that I know very well from a kid, I guess, growing up. Mom and dad weren't like, you aren't allowed to have social media, but because it wasn't very like restricted, like it was at some point, like we got a phone eventually, we got social media eventually, but like seeing all my older sisters on social media and then me just like being like, oh my gosh, social media, oh my gosh, my sisters are so cool on social media, like I love it, like being so like comparison. And it took such an interesting turn for me, like growing up and being all around it, and I loved it. I'm not saying social media is a bad thing. I just think, for example, COVID, I was on social media 24/7. I was never not on it because that was like the only thing I could do to talk to friends, to talk to even some family that was out of town. Like it was just the way of connection, and it was like something good. And also it like made my confidence plummet because I was always comparing, always just staring at a screen for hours and not like just numbing. And I would say for the past 2 years, I haven't had like Instagram or TikTok. And I've like, yes, I've downloaded it on and off, but like I feel like I've had the biggest weight just lifted off of me. And that's why I wanted to, segue and say I'm going first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love that. I think there totally is a difference. And I go back and forth I literally do social media pretty much as my job now. And that's really hard and also fun. But yeah, like I go back and forth between like, being on social media and posting a ton and then not. I don't think humans were supposed to see as many beautiful people as we do now on a daily basis. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when you're over consuming anything, it's bad for you, right?
Even in business, like, because I use social media, which it's so ironic because I'm teaching grounding, but then I'm on social media to tell people to get off social media ground. Like it's so hard.
What I say too, yeah.
But I write these grounding emails weekly, and I was writing one about making a dream board. I've made a dream board every year for a long time, and I have this full in-depth process. And I literally was sitting with myself thinking, I need to get off social media. And I was meditating like, okay, how do I want to do this dream board email? And I went to write the email. And as soon as I came out of the meditation, I opened up Pinterest because that's also social media. And I started looking up dream board ideas, like how do people do it? And I'm like, I've done this
Yeah.
for so long. Just write what I do instead of look outside myself for somebody else to tell me how it's okay to do it, you know?
Uh-huh.
It was wild because my way of doing it is amazing. But I thought I needed to do it somebody else's way in order to be accepted, which I feel like we do that with our bodies too. I'm just using this email as an example.
No, yeah, like I think too with trying to chase any dream, doing anything out of not even anything out of the norm, just anything in general. Your algorithm will almost start to feed you that type of thing, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, there's too many musicians. There's too many people that want to put out music. There's too many yoga instructors or people doing retreats or too many like whatever it is." And seriously, then I feel like it dims your light. And okay, so this is what I think. Social media isn't going away. It's just simply not. And you can choose to like totally delete it off your phone and never use it. I think that's a phenomenal option. But let's say we want to use it as a tool. I would love to talk about like how the heck we can do that. You know, like how do we live with it in confidence, but not let it over consume us? You know, any ideas?
I feel like when I'm busy, I don't go on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm in college or doing classes and then doing whatever I'm doing in life, I don't like go on social media because I don't have time. And a lot of the time with college at least, or work or anything screens, I'm on my screen for work anyway. And I get so sick of like looking at a screen and I just need to like shut my computer, like put away my phone. Responding to texts, everybody knows I suck at it. And I suck at just responding to anybody because it's just an energy suck. Like, and I don't even mean to be mean about it, but it's just like at the end of a school day or whatever I'm doing, I put it away and I'm like, okay, I like can't even, I don't have the energy to like look at what other people are doing because I barely have the energy for like my own stuff in my life. But then I notice when I do go on spiral of like, I'm deep diving into TikTok.
Yeah.
It's more when I'm in bed or like just scrolling and it's like I have time and I don't have a plan for my day maybe. When it's like, well, I don't have a plan. And it's not always bad. Sometimes I'm like, I really need to just like turn my brain off and just like hang out for a minute. But when you kind of get stuck in that spiral of just scrolling, you kind of get lost and then you don't realize how much time passes. So I don't know if that's a tip, but that's
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
Stay busy.
Add to this. So this is something I'm struggling with most right now. I'd say more than anything because I don't have a lot going on. And so, like you said, when I'm busy, I don't get on. Like when I'm with you guys and coming to Utah, I'm like, that's why I get so excited because I don't feel the need. I'm so happy.
Me too.
When I'm in
It's
alone.
connection.
Yeah. And when I'm alone in Colorado and I literally could sit for hours and hours and my eyes hurt and my head hurts and I'm like blending with the walls around me. And I realize like, I am nothing but like a blob. And it's sad. And so I don't know. I keep thinking of a tip because like, well, there were so many things going on in my head when we were talking. Back to the confidence of on social media, because I used to be in it all the time and I would used to get good amount of likes and the people around me that would get so many likes too. I'm like, everyone's fake. And I would have flashes of being out in the woods behind me. Like I literally, that's all I could think about was, oh, I want real life. I want nothing. Like, why is social media like this? Like, I want to remember that's what's important. I hope this makes somewhat sense. Like to show what you love to do, but not for the love of other people loving, for the love of yourself.
Yeah.
And a big believer that people don't know I actually do this when they say, we're going to dinner. What are you wearing? I never ask that question because it dims my light of creativity in what I want to wear and how I want to look. And I'm not going to change that because asking is like, is it? No, I'm not saying everybody else, but it dims my, what do I want? In every way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of social media.
That's
If,
fair.
like you said, going to Pinterest, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for how to create what I have it inside myself.
And being confident that you do have it inside of yourself. Yeah.
That was a lot.
That's so interesting.
I
I've
love
never
that.
thought of that. I
think
always
that's-
ask my friends, like, what are you wearing? Because I'm like the younger, oh my gosh, I want to fit in. I want to fit in. So it's so interesting to hear that. So, yeah,
And I'm also struggling with this, the social media thing, so bad. So bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, when does it dissipate? Just a little. When I'm traveling, like when I'm doing things I love.
Exactly.
Just like you guys were saying, coming here, like when I'm doing things I love, I actually have the problem because I'm supposed to get content for social media. And
Yeah,
I
then
never
you
want to
don't.
take my phone out
Right.
because I'm enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
But the moments I'm getting on social media is when I'm avoiding doing things I don't want to be doing or avoiding feeling things I don't want to be doing. And my friend, Tiffany Hilton, she told me, and I don't know where she got this, but maybe it was Brianna. I don't know which one. But they told me every time you go to get on social media for any reason at all, have a note in your phone and just go write one word as to how you're feeling before you get on social media and just keep track. You can still get on social media, but just go start to document
Why you're
what
doing it.
puts you on social media.
Interesting
Boredom,
pattern. So
anxiety, yeah,
Yeah.
and then you start to see.
That's
I did it for a
interesting.
little bit and I stopped, so I'll start again.
Right? Well, I'll do it. No, you want to know something really funny that I was gonna do, but then I was like, damn, I don't even want to do this. Like, so I'm not gonna make you guys do it.
Do it. Just do it on the spot.
Well, maybe
Okay.
it's way better now. I was literally gonna say, everyone, go to your screen time on your phone and
No.
tell me your screen time.
No, it's
Ooh.
so embarrassing. I've been in
Sounds
Colorado with no job. I finished school. It would be like 8 hours.
No,
I'm
that's
saying it
fine.
right
I
now.
don't even know where my phone is.
Are we saying weekly
Straight
or-
up, mine was 11 hours. How many hours in a day? Literally,
I've been
that's
there.
what I thought.
I've been there too, right?
I was
5.5.
okay.
But it's on my vision board to be less, so I'm trying.
Mine's 420.
420.
Wow. Ooh.
I literally think mine would be like 11 or 10 the other day too.
Mine's gonna be so false because I've been so busy doing my podcast that like
Oh,
I don't even want to scroll back to like when I'm in Florida. It's
Okay.
truly the
it's mine too.
worst.
But to all listeners, go check your screen time while you listen to this
Yes.
podcast. Just as an awareness, not to judge yourself. But you can also set, I don't feel like it even works, but you can set like screen time.
I say
use
ignore
those.
limit every time.
It's muscle memory.
Okay,
Like an iPad.
Opal is the
no,
app that
the
you
app
told me.
Opal. I've been saying that on every podcast. I swear, the app Opal is good because it makes you count down, and then it extends the time. It's called Opal,
Uh-huh.
and it's an app for screen time.
Please sponsor her.
I literally, I'm like, Opal, sponsor me because I need it more than anyone else.
So
But
it counts it back.
it counts it back, and then the more you try and extend the time, the more time it counts until you can press 15 more minutes.
So you have to
15
go
more
out
minutes.
of the app into Opal.
I need
Then it tells you a quote, and it's like, no, you're not supposed to do
Yes,
this. Right
it'll be like Albert Einstein says that this, and it'll literally call you out.
Wait, that's so good.
It's so good.
You know what
I
TikTok
used
that's
it.
like, hold up, you've been scrolling, and then we're like,
Are you scrolling? I literally
Yes.
keep going over time.
Have you ever
You
seen the
scrolling
comments?
again?
Have you heard of that many times? Yeah. No, seriously though, like, okay, this is such a side note, but like, I love that idea. I've always thought about starting my own damn screen time app and just like hearing everyone's ideas and who is that? Okay, putting it. Sorry,
I thought it was
I think
someone
it's Cam. Yeah,
It's Cam.
so hype.
But seriously, like taking everyone's ideas and doing my own thing because I'm like, I need Fort Knox on my phone, or
Well,
else
I think about this idea all the time. You said, I believe 100% there's going to be social media detox centers in the next
Oh,
X amount of years.
So
not even just social media, just tech
Yeah.
detox.
That's why I'm
centers,
so proud of Hallie because she really. I sent you a million reels and she
my
never
friends have too.
responds, and I'm so sad. But I'm like, I'm proud of you.
What I do is I send them to her, and then when we're together, I'm like, look what I sent you.
Smart
Little
connection.
Yeah.
Good idea. No, oh my gosh. Okay, well, geez.
Okay, so the
yes.
question was what to do, how
You know,
to help.
I kind of want to switch it
Okay.
a little bit, but I love where it went as well. So I'm I'm happy. But I mean, yeah, I love it. I love all of this, and it's so needed. I swear, I don't know if my listeners are gonna be like happy that I talk about it all the time, or like annoyed. But either way, I don't care because I'm not gonna
It's
shut up about
healthy.
it. It's
Healthy and
seriously
it saves lives.
it's gonna save mine,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be 80 years old and think that I spent 11 hours every day on my phone. Like,
At least some of those hours we're sharing to people to not be on their phone.
yeah, right.
And at least they're funny sometimes.
Yeah, true. It's like I want a good blend between funny and like serious. So I'm trying to decide.
Have we been serious or funny?
I
can't
don't
even
know.
tell.
Both, I guess
Make
both.
all topics funny. So.
Yeah, true. I really see, and I almost don't have a way to segue into this besides I really want to talk about body positivity and confidence and comparison in that way. If anyone wants to kick that off.
Well, as I said before, the social media for me, like literally every time, like Kinley was saying, every time like I would go onto social media, I never thought to think like what I feel like before I get on social media and like me being alone when I get on social media. And even then, sometimes when I'm with my friends and we're all just like bored, we all get on our phone and do something. So it's almost like it kind of makes me think every time that I have gotten on my phone, the biggest reason why, I'm not saying you need to delete social media. This is just my own perspective and my like way about life that I've found, I guess. But every time I've gotten on social media, I have always been like looking like for that validation and for that like I want to look that way, or I want to have that style, or I want to have that hair, that eyes, that body shape, just everything. It was always like that was the first thought. That was the biggest reason that I was like, I'm getting off of this. All I'm doing is just rotting my brain. But then there were times where I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'd come across a content creator and she would be like, body positivity. I'm like, this is so cute. So when right before I was getting off of like TikTok and Instagram, I started to follow all the people that were so positive about everything. And I went through my following and I literally deleted like all the random things that I followed that I was like, okay, this isn't like helping me or feeding my, I guess, validation wise, just like it's not healthy for me to keep on following these people who are not serving me.
Yeah. You want to know what's so interesting that I was just thinking about too? I have been like, few different weights, right? Looked a few different ways. And yeah, I've always felt unconfident in certain things of myself, no matter what.
Is it the same? I'm just curious because you have been like multiple weights. I've always been like a little more, I always weigh a little more than what they say I should weigh,
Yeah.
right? And so having been like a couple different weights and working really hard on your body physically, like you went through a phase where you really worked on it.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like you were not confident in the same areas in every phase? Or do you feel like it kind of changed?
Gosh, it's funny, like it's oh gosh, I am like, I don't know, it's kind of hard being this vulnerable, I feel like, because I mean with my guests it's like about my guests, you know what I mean, so it's like not me talking about myself. Yeah, but I have always wanted a bigger butt, right? I don't like
Booty.
I love the booty, okay?
She's got a boot.
I always have. Like I've always wanted, I just love the look, and I don't think it's bad to like want to sculpt your body and like work out in certain ways. I don't think that's bad, but it's like, okay, what's the reason, behind anything that you do in life? And it's like, yeah, I've always been kind of insecure about that, so then I work on it so hard. Then there's some days that I'm like, dang, for how hard I work, it should be like huge, and it's not. It's simply because of genetics. Or like my whole family, we all have
Flat
what?
butts.
Whoa. No, I was gonna say we all have.
Kidding. That's my experience only, I guess.
Have titties.
Yeah. How do I say this? My family all has. My mom blessed us with
The top
chest.
half.
Okay, top half.
The AirPod body.
And it. Oh my gosh. I don't even. It's like if the wrong audience gets this, they're just gonna talk about our bodies. I don't like that either. It's like, how do I talk about this? I don't know. But so it's like I've always been insecure about that because I feel like I developed really fast at like a young age.
We
all did.
got boobies.
And so because of that, it's like everyone always looked at me no matter what. And have you ever heard of that TikTok sound that's like, am I showing off my boobs or do I just have boobs?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's like another area that's hard for sure. Because you see like girls who run or girls who lift or anything, and it's like they're always flat.
I have a really hard time with this. Ooh, do I want to talk about it on the podcast?
Yeah,
because we did develop so young, and I actually was like, I always wanted. I was just the weird kid that like, I want the bras. I want to go get my bra for the first time.
Wow.
But there's a lot of girls like that.
Yeah, and I was so confident until people started commenting on them in a negative way. Because I always heard like positive things about it growing up. Like, it's okay because mom's family jokes about it and it's fine. Like, it's normal to us. And so it was never weird to me until it was weird. And people started commenting like, oh, that's booby.
Mhm.
And they mean it like in a joke. But something that came to me recently in meditation was when people, actually it was on ayahuasca, when people comment on your body, that's actually just where stuck energy is within their body.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's commenting, oh, you look so skinny, they're probably thinking that about themselves. Or, oh, that looks really booby. They're probably insecure about their own chest.
In some way.
In some way.
Maybe
Or
lack
thinking about
thereof,
it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Projecting.
The end. Yeah, I feel like I had more to say, but I
Yeah.
forgot my train of thought because I remembered the ayahuasca thing that came through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about body image all day. I mean, I feel like it started at a young age where mom and dad were really open about just like developing bodies, and like you go through so many changes. It reminds me of Inside Out, how they're like puberty, and it's like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
everything. So, but you just, a lot of changes, a lot of even emotions, but with that, it's like body. And I feel like my whole life I've been told like, oh, you're big boned, or like you're just, I don't know, just a lot of stuff like that where it was hard to hear at a young age, just all growing up. And it was like all those labels, all those labels. And a lot of my friends were a lot smaller than me. And it wasn't even that I was huge, but it was just who I was surrounded by. So I did compare myself all growing up. Like, it was just hard.
Mhm.
And I feel like I got to the point where it was also health, just like be aware of your health. And I was having like health issues, but we didn't know why. And now later I found out I'm gluten free, and like that really helps a lot. And it's just like I was just inflamed and hurting because apparently I was allergic to gluten. Now I know that, but back then it was a lot of like yo-yo dieting and wanting to just feel better. But it came from a place of like also like my looks, and mom did a good job at like helping me through that, but not having it all be about looks. But it is hard, just comparison and bodies. And then in the end, it's just more like, how do I feel? Like now I feel like I'm in a good place of just like, do I feel good? What is my intention of what I'm doing? Like going to the gym, or even just exercise can be fun, and like do your hobbies, and you don't have to be like grueling like 50 sit-ups every night, or like because I would do that, and like just random things like that. So it can be fun, and it doesn't have to be all about like just weight loss or stuff like that.
I have an interesting story. It's very short, but it has to do with this, and I think it kind of segues into how we can maybe gain more confidence, or just a thought with this, because I know that we don't have it all figured out, right? None of us here have self-confidence, self-love maybe like perfectly figured out, but I would love for us, as well as my listeners, for us to just come together and almost figure something out for ourselves, you know? Something so interesting. One time I was sitting and waiting for my mom after junior high. She was coming to pick me up, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and he had this friend, and this friend was very, I don't know, raunchy. Like he had already like done all the things and whatever, and I was very innocent. And we were like talking, and I was just like waiting for mom to like come get me. The craziest thing is he actually changed my perspective in such an odd positive way.
Because these are all
But I would have never, ever in a million years thought this man would like change my perspective. But this is what he's said to me. He's talking about this girl. I think it was like a freaking Instagram model or something. It literally might have been like Alexis Wren. If you guys don't know who Alexis Wren is, she's very, very petite, very tiny, ballerina, beautiful girl, okay? But just so not my body type, simply. And I think he was talking about her, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to look like her one day. She's so pretty. I just like, literally, she's so pretty. And he turned to me, and I was like so hurt at first, but yeah, he turned to me and he was like, but Brighton, you will never look like her. And at first I was like, ow, what? Are you like, you're joking? That's so rude. Why would you say that? But like, he was like, no, like you won't look like her just because of your bone structure. He's like, Brighton, like you have hips. You are shorter than her. Like you're totally, your bones are just different. Your genetics are different. And he's like, that's okay. And he was like weird to me. He's like, your body's great. I love your body. And I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. But he was like, no, you're Brighton, like your body's great. But you won't look like her. And I was like, huh. And truly, over the years, that has like rung in my head, not in a bad way, but just in like an acceptance way. You know, and I don't believe in just laying down and not working on yourself for whatever reason and just being like, oh, I will never be like them, so I'm just not going to do anything about myself or whatever. But also accept yourself and love yourself, because that is who you are at the end of the day. You can't be someone else.
Mm-hmm. And coming from being a CNA, we all end up looking the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
That's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
working in rest homes, that was one of the most eye-opening things, is like we all end up with boobs so saggy we have to tuck them in our pockets.
No, I'm cutting mine off before that happens.
I'm not even joking. I used to have to do that for people, but it was
you told me that.
pockets. Well, in the pants. And maybe not everybody's gonna have to do that, but like
Yeah.
we all end up wrinkly.
Yeah.
We all end up needing help in the end. Like,
Very humbling.
enjoy it now.
Yeah.
While we have like moving bodies, and it's not even about just like the soft skin and the long hair and like all the things. That's, oh my gosh, our bodies move with so much ease right now.
Yeah.
That alone should give us confidence. I'm gonna cry. You can turn into somebody else now.
I would agree with that. It's so easy to talk about the looks and the aesthetics, and at the end of the day, you think about people in wheelchairs, people that are burned victims, people that, and they're still living better than us mentally. They're stronger than us mentally. Like David Goggins will always say, like that type of thing. Like it's all the mind. Bouncing off, I feel like I was almost opposite, where I was the really petite, and a lot of projection was always on me. I used to look like that. You're just skinny. You could never. Why can you eat a burger and not get fat? And it was almost like I felt bad in a weird way. And even still, it's projection.
And so you should feel bad for hard work. I don't know.
But and this is how I felt, if I were to complain about something I'm insecure about, I'm not allowed to, because I'm more blessed than somebody might think else. And what's weird is I've always grown up, I'm like, I love my stomach. Like that was one of my favorite aesthetic parts of myself. And then I got a stomach problem. And then I bloated huge. And I felt that way. But even still now, you don't look bloated. You're not this. You're and it's like, you don't know.
Just because,
and it's such a weird.
You can still have insecurities, and people can still validate them.
And it's such a weird flipped side of it. And then I'm just like, gosh, like what a waste of time to even think that hard about a body. Such a waste of time, because eventually I'm gonna look at my belly and there's gonna be a baby. Eventually I'm gonna look at my belly and I'm gonna be 90 years old. Hopefully I make it that long, you know? It's a blessing to be slowly digressing in body just so you can live longer.
Yeah.
You're always going to be too much for some people and too little for others. And it's like at the end of, that's what we started the whole podcast about. Like, what is confidence? It's not being too much or too little.
Yeah.
And like
being you.
Some people are going to say you're too small to have struggles. You shouldn't even talk.
Right.
And some people are going to say, oh, wow, I'm glad I'm not you. You have a big tummy. But like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I love that.
Full circle, right? It's like it's a whole different way of looking in all angles of an image.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm like totally scared to age because of looks. Totally.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be grateful to even another day?
Yeah.
To live?
Yeah.
I literally saw a photo shoot of these three like grandmas with I sent it to you, I think. And they're wearing these like gorgeous flowy dresses and just like in like the trees, and someone was like, can I take a photo shoot of you? And I was like doing this with the sisters when we're older, like all of us old, all of us beautiful and wise. Just like
75 or something cute, like
it
80.
was so cute. And they were just like, they would like be close-ups of like black and white of like their face and just like a veil, and like it was just so pretty, like bright color dresses that are just so flowy and like tulle, and they were just beautiful. And no one ever does photo shoots of like, no one ever glorifies another thing. You always say like glorify and like it's not romanticize, what is it, like each moment in life, and like is it romanticize each moment? And like getting old, there are hard things, but like when he's saying like it's good, like it means you're living, it means you're like alive, and like enjoy it.
Like every wrinkle is a smile that was smiled.
I've promised to like be so excited about your birthday and I hope everyone, listeners and sisters, I want you to post and be like, I mean, you don't have to, but it helps. I am 26, I'm 27, I'm 28, I'm 95, I'm this. Women especially. Oh, don't ask me my age. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we need to stop doing that.
let's be proud.
It
we're
was
another
never-
year.
It was never offensive in our family. And so I have offended people by being like, oh, yeah, how old are you? Like, and they're like, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean it as like a,
Why is that a bad
Yeah.
thing? And for girls more than guys, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the stigma between like dad bod and mom bod, or
Mhm.
like I'm just.
But I did, so sad, in Utah, I just saw a billboard that's like, get the dream dad bod.
I saw that.
It's like, it's so sad they're targeting women, but then it's like, oh my gosh, it's even spreading to men. I don't want men to experience it too.
Really, I
It's
was like,
hard to-
finally, they came to freaking.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't do that. But what I was going to say is, I feel like the fear of aging is more common than people speak, especially in a image-based world. And I think that that's where the mental and spiritual side really comes in. Because if we're only focused on the physical, yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But if we're focusing on the mental of like, I am beautiful from the inside out, I am a good person, then like it doesn't matter what the body looks like if the mind is strong too.
Totally.
And it's like you want to be working on that yourself
Yeah.
in that way, because like it's not for your spouse, but let's just say like even for your spouse's sake, if all you care about is your looks and then you don't have any personality, that's boring.
Which I feel like we all got really, not even lucky. We chose consciously, to those who are married, and you guys, I know you will too. Well, it took me 2 tries. I just
First
took a
try.
whole-
Yeah.
We really ended up with like good men.
Yeah.
Who care more about our hearts than anything else. And I think that's important for your listeners to hear, is that because I did not believe it's possible, but there are men out there. And I thought I was the only one that was going to find one. And then my sisters also found men that are like amazing men. I'm like, oh, there are safe men out there too.
somewhere.
That don't.
Somewhere.
They're hard.
Keep looking.
They're hard.
Ellen and I are still looking right now.
It's worth it.
I think it's very needed to like have that, like, bodies are real and like they're gonna go through waves and like control. That's why I feel like so many people, this is so segue, but like so many people try to like do Botox or try to do just like anything to shape their body the way they want so they can fit in. And sometimes it can be very like warming and being like, this is good for me. I want this to feel like me, and I like, that's awesome. And also I think there are some ways where I'm like, some people do it for the sake of others to see them in a certain way.
No, I think I'm gonna be like in the middle. Like, I don't think I'm totally not gonna have Botox or like, I don't know, something. But I also think I don't want to like not look my age at the same time too.
I think there's a difference between like amplifying, like I want to amplify my beauty, and running from being seen.
Your age.
Like I'm just gonna put on more things to hide
who I am.
where I'm at.
Yeah, where I'm at. Yeah.
I was thinking this before we started the episode, and it just came to me while you were talking. I feel like there's this stigma of like we have to stay a certain way once we're confident. And it's like, if you're really around the people who love you unconditionally, you're going to be able to continue to grow and continue to be different people. In the trauma world, you always hear the phrase like, that wasn't me. And they like diss on themselves in the past, but it's like, it is us. We are always us, but we're always morphing and changing and growing, and being around the right friend group or having the right lover in our lives is what makes it so that we can continue to grow in such a safe environment.
You know, and I think that is what true confidence is always evolving, because if you like think about it, if you are confident in one way so you stay that way, that means you're not confident in yourself and in changing your life in any way. It's like the lack thereof. Okay, it's almost like I want to do Amen. It's almost like I want to do a recap of and a summary, so if people want to chime in if I forgot something, but I want to talk about the lessons that I think I've heard from people. Okay, in no particular order, by the way. 1, really understand why you're going on social media, and really just kind of being in tune as to why and what you're looking at, what you're consuming. 2, going with your own opinion, whether it's a song that you like, being confident in that or practicing that, whether it's an outfit that you want to wear to an event, practicing that. What about going to a gym class or a new welding class? And even if you're unconfident, have the confidence to keep showing up and keep caring about yourself in the way and just keep going. That's another lesson in confidence, is like knowing it's not going to be easy at first, but also having the confidence in yourself to gain the confidence, if that makes sense. Am I missing any others?
Oh, huge. Quit saying sorry. I remember clear as day. This was high school, and I was walking through the parking lot, and a kid opened the door like right on me. I don't know if he knew, I don't know, whatever, but it was like his fault. And I go, sorry, and he like almost hit me with the door. I was walking into school with a girl on my dance company, and she turned, she said, don't say sorry, that was his fault. And then she just walked away like so sassy, and I'm like, yeah. And so
Yeah.
ever since then, I'm like, I'm not sorry unless I'm actually in
Sorry.
fault and should be sorry.
Like that.
I have one.
You have one with that?
Yeah. When we said you're always going to be too much for someone, you're always going to be too little for someone. So just figure out how you feel inside. And then also another summary was, one of the lessons we said was, it's not just physical. Like confidence isn't just about the physical body, it's also about the mindset, which is a little tangent, but one of the elderly people, I took care of a different elderly person. Every time I would change her, she would say, I have the best boobs. I have the best boobs. And she believed it. I mean, that's what I'm telling you, is they all
personal preference if you did.
they all end up looking the same,
Yeah.
but she
Oh.
knew hers were the best. And it was like, that mindset carried, did not matter physically,
Yeah.
but she believed that she was beautiful, and she was beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
Like
totally
the
love that.
movie. Have you guys seen I Feel Pretty?
Yeah. Yes, that actually has so
so
many good
Yeah.
lessons in it. Yes. I love that you brought that up.
If you haven't watched that movie, audience, go watch that movie. It's called I Feel Pretty. It's really freaking funny.
With
for
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
She's pretty funny in it.
Gosh, it's like I want to leave my audience with something. Leave them with like a journal prompt maybe, or a thought. Maybe if they're driving in the car and you obviously can't journal.
Ella?
The thought I keep having is just live life for you. Like, you're not living your life for anybody else. I have to keep reminding myself that. Like, I am living for me. So what makes me happy?
Ella said, what makes me happy? And something I've been processing is what makes me feel beautiful, because I haven't felt confident. So I'm like, when do I feel beautiful? When I'm doing yoga, when I don't know, I don't have them in front of me, but I've been journaling and having a note in my phone that's called what makes me feel beautiful. And I journal anytime I think of something that helps me feel beautiful.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Romanticizing life.
I love that. I love you guys. I know we could talk forever. Audience, if you have a topic, if you have a funny story to share about this, if you want
to just come hard at one of us and drill us on something we said,
Roast us, I
you
dare
will come
you.
back and we will answer your
we
questions.
will answer your
ask more
questions.
questions.
Thank you guys so much for joining me on the very first debut episode of Girls Night In. It was so fun. I hope you guys had fun. I hope the audience learned a thing or two, laughed a few times, or maybe lots of times like we did. And until next time, bye.
Bye.